Shalom, shalom. Welcome to Supporting Yah's Cornerstone. My name is Heshra'ah, and that name means moved by Yah. Today is a get to know me video. I'm going to talk about my decision to drop out of high school when I was 16 or about 16 and a half years old. I was in the 10th grade at the time. So if you've seen previous videos, then you know that I was a single teen mom during that particular time. And when I made that decision, I was living with my paternal grandfather. So a little background about me and school. School was never a real just good experience for me. I didn't really care for it too much. I enjoyed the learning part, but it was just the people portions, the bullying, the you know, name calling, and just if you weren't popular, if you didn't have the certain type of clothes, then you weren't treated that well. It was all of that part that I really did not like about school. But the learning portions, I did. Even at that time, it wasn't popular even to be, you got ridiculed if you were smart, or if you were considered smart. If you studied and you did well on tests, or you did well in class answering questions, that would cause you to get bullied. So I experienced that a lot of times too. So public school overall, or just school period, just was not a good experience for me. It's not something that I ever really uh, um, liked in the first place. So fast forward that up to my decision to quit high school. So my intention was not to quit high school. That was not my intention. I did not intend to or plan on dropping out of school. My plan was to finish high school. That was my plan. My last day of high school, or what became my last day, was completely unplanned. It was unplanned. So what happened that day was I was returning home from school on the school bus, and at some point between leaving school and being on the bus and coming home, I got in a fight on the bus that day with a boy. I don't remember what the fight was about. I just remember we ended up in a fight. As the bus was still driving us, everybody home. And so I remember when she got to my stop, I remember turning around just telling her, "You don't ever have to worry about stopping by here again to pick me up." And that's just what I told her. You don't have to worry about it. I won't be going back. And so that particular day was my last day of high school. Now, before that, months before that, I had already been looking into going to school through the mail, and I had actually gotten the information about that, but had still never set a time frame, or never really just thought about actually going ahead and quitting high school and finishing at home through the mail. But I had gotten the information like months before, but like I said, had not had a plan to to actually go ahead and do it. So when I got off the bus that day, that basically was my decision. It was last minute. It was unplanned, but I did already have the information there to a school that allowed you to get your high school diploma at home through the mail. At that time, it was called ICS Newport Pacific High School. The name has changed several times over the years. Currently, it is Penn Foster High School, the Penn Foster High School program. Um, I recognize that it's the same building and place because the address is the same. The name has changed, but the address is still the same as it was when I attended and it was called ICS Newport Pacific High School. So, so I got off the bus that day, and I let my grandfather know that I was going to finish at home, that I wasn't going back, and and so he didn't say anything. He was a quiet man. He didn't say a lot, but I remember one of my relatives calling, and I remember my relative telling me that I was not motivated enough to complete high school at home and to complete it through the mail. They talked to me for a while. I remember that day, and I just listened, and then we got off the phone. I just listened to what they had to say about it, and we got off the phone. I imagine my grandfather probably told them that I was leaving high school and was going to finish through the mail at home, because I don't remember calling anybody or letting uh, anybody know. And so I imagine that's how they even found out, which was fine. But I don't blame my relative for calling and talking to me about that, because at that time I had made, for a good while, I had been making bad decisions and irresponsible choices. So I understand where they were coming from. Um, I was really never the type when I was younger to like argue as far back and forth with an adult or something like that. I was always kind of a more quiet, rebellious type. Like, you could talk to me, but I was probably gonna do whatever it was I made up my mind to do anyway. So I was kind of like that anyway. But I would listen, but if my mind was made up to do something, then I was just gonna do it. So so when my relative called, I just heard them out, and then when we got off the phone, I still went ahead with my plan anyway to finish through the mail. And so the next thing I thought about was the cost. At the time, in the state I live in the state of Mississippi, at the time, your TANF check, which is what I was on at the time, was $96 a month. That was the TANF check or the welfare check, $96 a month. If you were a single mom with one child, okay, that's what they gave you at the time. When I first started receiving that check, the entire check would go to the babysitter, and I think my grandfather would add something on to it to give to her. So I didn't see that check for a long time. So one thing about me deciding to finish through the mail is that the cost for the school for me to go through the mail was going to be $40 a month. And so, of course, if you do the math on that, that would leave me $56 a month. And so I would have something to spend toward helping taking care of my son. So when I thought about the cost, me going to public school, and paying the babysitter the whole $96 a month plus whatever my grandfather added, that amounted to 900 and something dollars, a little probably over 900 and something dollars for the whole entire school year. Okay, but if I finished through the mail, it was going to be $40 a month, and the entire price of the program at the time was 500 and some dollars in all. And so when I thought about that, I thought, well, I'm actually saving money. And at the time, the babysitter that I had that was keeping my son, it was issues coming up too with that person not changing his diaper. He ended up actually with, I want to say at the time, a yeast infection. And yes, I said a yeast infection. I think I want to say a yeast infection. Um, from just having the same diaper on all day for long periods of time, and because they say yeast grow in tight, dark places, and if I remember right, that's what it was. But so, and it was issues with that concerning the babysitter. So I kind of thought that, hey, I can take care of my own child at home and go to school and save money overall. I'm spending money, but I'm saving money at the same time. So I remember thinking about that too, that could really work out. It never occurred to me that I couldn't do it. It never occurred to me that I wouldn't do it, because even though I had made a decision on certain things when I was pregnant, I did make the decision that I would finish school and that I needed to go to college and that I needed to get a good job to make a way for me and my son. So my mind was kind of made up right there because I thought about it. I'm making so many bad decisions, and now that a baby is coming into the world, that my bad decisions, especially ones that was getting me kicked out of places, that he would be homeless too, that he would be affected by what I was doing, or if I'm making bad decisions, it's going to make his situation, I'm making another person's life hard too. So I made my a decision while I was pregnant that at least in as far as education, job, and things like that, that I would stay on course. I would do my best to do that. And so it never occurred to me or a thought that I would not get my diploma, that I would not try to get my high school diploma. It just never occurred to me that I wouldn't, or that I was going to be lazy about it. What ended up happening was I signed up for the high school program. I paid for the high school program each month, and I graduated in 9 months. They give you, at the time, they would give you 2 years to finish their high school program, and I finished in 9 months. So that's what ended up happening. So I finished the program in 9 months. I didn't receive my high school diploma right after I finished because I had about 2 or 3 more payments to make. So once I finished making those last two or three payments, then they sent me my high school diploma. Actually, they sent me 2 high school diplomas. They sent me one to recognize when I actually finished the work, and then they sent me another one that recognized when I actually finished paying. So I ended up with 2 printed high school diplomas. Now, you may ask, well, at that time, did that diploma count for anything? Yes, it did. I went on to apply. I went on to go to 2 years of community college and 2 years of at the one of the local universities here in my state. So I went on to go to college for 4 years. I did not graduate from college. At the time, I was going to be a 5 or 6 year graduate because I was working full time and going to college full time. And during my 4th year, I married my husband, who I'm currently married to now. And he had an opportunity out of state. We ended up going out of state, and the plan was that I finished school where we were, but I didn't. And so that's what happened. So even though I did go to college 4 years, I did not graduate because it was going to take me an extra couple of years to complete all the coursework, because working full time at the time and going to college full time, I could only take so many classes and pass. So I was taking, like, full time at that time was 4 classes a semester. And I found that I could work full time, take 4 classes a semester, and I could pass all 4 of those classes. But at the same time, it was taking me a lot longer. It was going to take me a lot longer to graduate. So that's what happened. Um, I remember when I turned in my books to the office in high school, that the secretary there did say, now, if your plan doesn't work out, you're going to end up coming right back here. And I just said yes. I said, okay, I know. And I just kind of left it at that. But I did finish the high school program. Yes, it did count towards college because some people were concerned about that. Well, would colleges even accept it? Yeah, they did. Because I had a transcript and everything. And I actually, at that time, um, there wasn't the internet. It was in the 90s. So, well, their program was not online. So, what they would do is I had a list of coursework, and what the high school would do would be to send me one textbook at a time and the test to go along with it. And these were actually like books, big, thick books. And they would send the tests, all the tests that would go with the book. So I would actually have to read. So what would happen was, read the textbook to be able to even complete the test. So what ended up happening was I think I would finish one textbook a month is what I would end up finishing. And yes, they did accept the credits that I already had from my high school, from my public high school. So they did that at the time too. Because I had completed 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade high school in public school. So they did accept those credits. And so, but that's how that went. So I ended up doing like one textbook and one set of tests per month until I finished the high school program. And so that's the story of me dropping out of high school, at least public high school, and going on to finish high school through the mail, and then taking my ACT test and moving on to college. So the point of these videos, I hope, is just for you to get to know me. And number two, I hope that it is a testimony to somebody out there, especially certain parts of it. You may find yourself in some of the same situations that I was in. Maybe you made even some of the same mistakes I did. But I want my past to be a testimony to other women that you can overcome, that Yah's word can bless your life, can bless your mind, and that you can live past your mistakes, live past your errors, that Yahweh can help you heal, and all things are possible in Yahweh that are of righteousness. And so I'm hoping by telling my past that you can get to know me, and that you can see how far Yah has brought me in my life too, and that it could be an encouragement to you at whatever point you find yourself in life. If you would like to contact me, you're welcome to email me at yascornerstone@gmail.com. That's yascornerstone@gmail.com. Or you can follow me on Instagram also if you like. That's at Supporting Yah's Cornerstone. And I also have a Facebook page, and that is called Supporting Yah's Cornerstone also. Toda Rabah for your time. Thank you for your time. Shalom, shalom.